I remember the day like it was etched into my bones. A day when every ounce of my conviction was shattered with brutal, unforgiving words. My family sat around the cracked wooden table, eyes narrowed, faces tight with disdain. They called me a fool, a dreamer lost to delusions, and for the first time, I felt the full weight of their rejection crushing my spirit. "You're wasting your time," my father said, voice cold. "All that nonsense about ancient plants, it's quackery. You're embarrassing us, chasing fairy tales. You'll never make it." Their words cut deeper than any physical wound, each syllable echoing as a reminder of everything I was not and would never be. It was a professional betrayal that ignited the fire in me. My groundbreaking research into herbal medicines, which I poured years of my life into, was discredited, dismissed by pharmaceutical giants who saw only profit, not healing. They labeled my work quackery, and I was cast aside, ridiculed as an outsider chasing shadows. In that moment, I faced a choice. Let their words define me or forge my own path through the darkness. I chose the darkness because I knew that if I believed in anything, it was in the healing power of nature itself. And so I left that world behind. The sterile laboratories, the corporate suits, the sneering faces of my family, and I turned inward. I became a botanist on a quest for lost, ancient medicinal plants. I traveled to remote jungles, to forgotten valleys where the air shimmered with the scent of history. Every seed I uncovered, every plant I rediscovered, was a silent rebellion against their disbelief. I worked tirelessly, often alone, with only the whispers of the wind and the memory of my purpose to keep me going. My work was slow, painstaking, and often fruitless. But I knew, I felt that I was unlocking something vital, something that could save lives. Years passed, and then everything changed. My research blossomed into breakthroughs. I developed herbal remedies that outperformed conventional medicines, potent, pure, untouched by corporate greed. I built partnerships with communities that had preserved these plants for generations, transforming barren, neglected lands into thriving ecosystems of hope. My discoveries weren't just scientific. They were a testament to resilience, to nature's boundless capacity to heal. I saw lives transformed, pain alleviated, spirits rekindled. And with each success, I thought of my family, how their skepticism had nearly broken me, how their words had tried to silence my voice. But I proved that what they called quackery was ancient wisdom, rediscovered and refined. I became a pioneer, a leader, an undeniable force in herbal medicine. Overnight, I was recognized in scientific journals, invited to speak at conferences, featured in documentaries. From the outcast to the icon. And yet, I never forgot that bitter day when I was dismissed as a fool. That day, I promised myself that if I ever returned home, it would be as someone who had risen beyond their petty judgments, someone who had reclaimed their dignity. And so I did. I returned to that small town with a new purpose, to show them the truth. I brought with me a thriving, lush medicinal garden, a living testament to years of dedication and perseverance. I wanted them to see what I had become. not just with my words, but with my work. I wanted them to witness the miracle of life I had cultivated from the ashes of their doubts. Everything was set for that moment of reckoning. I arrived unannounced, my eyes shining with quiet pride. I led my family through the garden, each plant a story, a victory. The once barren patches now teemed with life, ginger, ginseng, a rare herb believed lost to time, all thriving under my care. I watched their faces, a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. And then I revealed the true purpose of my journey. I handed my father a small vial of herbal extract, a remedy I had developed from plants I'd painstakingly cultivated. His eyes widened as I explained its healing properties, a natural cure for ailments that had plagued our community for generations. I turned to my mother and handed her a sprig of the ancient herb that had once been thought extinct, now revived and thriving. "This is real," I said softly. "This is what I've created, what I fought for." The silence stretched thick and heavy. I saw the shock in their eyes, the realization that all their ridicule was rooted in fear and ignorance. They had mocked me, called me foolish, told me I'd fail. But standing there, with their own eyes witnessing the fruits of my labor, I felt an overwhelming sense of justice, an unshakable truth that I had finally, inexorably proven them wrong. And then my father, trembling slightly, reached out and touched the leaf of the revived plant. His voice cracked as he said, "I thought you were wasting your life. I thought you were chasing ghosts." His words hung in the air, heavy with regret. I looked at him, at all of them, and I saw the shadows of their doubts melting away, replaced by a flicker of respect, of understanding. They had been wrong, not just about me, but about the power of what I believed in. That day was more than just a victory. It was a lesson in humility and faith. We often judge what we don't understand, dismiss what seems unfamiliar, and mock what we fear. But true strength lies in resilience, the courage to pursue what others deem impossible, to fight against the tide of doubt, and to trust in the silent, enduring power of nature and one's conviction. I left that day with a renewed sense of purpose. My journey wasn't just about healing others. It was about healing myself from the wounds of betrayal and ridicule. It was about proving that even in the face of scorn, persistence and belief can turn dreams into reality. And now I stand here, sharing this story, not just to celebrate my success, but to remind anyone listening, never let anyone define your worth. Never let their doubts drown out your voice. Because sometimes the greatest victories come from the most unlikely battles. Sometimes the healing power you seek is rooted in your own unshakable faith. And that's the real truth. Resilience, patience, and unwavering belief can turn the ridiculous into the revolutionary. I am living proof of that. And I hope, in some small way, my story inspires you to keep fighting, because your impossible